الفقر غربة في الوطن، مالوش لا ظهر ولا تمن، يهلك ويشقى سنين ويدوب يجيب حق الكفان. ليه البلد محنية شايل عذاب، وبيوتنا ليه مرهونة على الزلزال. طب مين اللي قال مالها ومين كان أزملها، ومين واقف وياها وقت المحن.
What expectations do I raise? What
For
do you mean by
example,
that?
he will not be able to study this and that. If he gets 3 out of 10, this is good for him. He will not be able to do any more. If he cannot behave properly, of course he cannot behave properly because he is from a poor environment. If he cannot pronounce the words properly, of course he is a poor child. He cannot play music. What music is for a child? Just give him, if you want to treat him, give him something to eat. He doesn't need music. He doesn't need hobbies. Just let them finish the day and go home. These are poor people, poor children. This is the scenario, the different scenario. I have 5 hours a day, or 3 hours a day, or 4 hours a day. How can I make the most of these hours to compensate, not to add
To his
to
trouble.
the stresses, to the troubles,
Yes.
to the challenges? And a child with all these problems, maybe reading and writing is not the top priority, but he has to have self-confidence, to have respect, to know that I do care. You are not a burden for me. I do respect you. I do try to help you. This is why. Because anatomically, the brain of the poor children is different from the brain of the middle class. Unless there are so many protective factors that will protect the child from the adversities he faces, the challenges he faces. But the book I was mentioning,
Yes. Teaching with poverty.
Teaching with Poverty in Mind, states straightforward that imaging the brain of the poor children and imaging the brain of the middle class children, there is difference. The good news that good schooling affects the brain, because the brain is plastic. There is plasticity. The brain changes. The brain grows. The brain branches as if it is a tree. If you water a tree, it will have branches. If you don't water the tree, it will fade
Die.
away. This is the case with the brain. So, what in this instance, what we need to do to the children of poverty.
رمضان جانا وفرحنا به بعد غيابه وبقاله زمان قالوا قولوا شهر الدول قالوا أهلا رمضان رمضان جانا أهلا قولوا معانا رمضان جانا قولوا معانا رمضان جانا.
There are certain occasions, Dr. Safaa, where deprived segments or deprived people in the society feel the need. For example, when we are celebrating the Eid or the Bayram, and the mother does not have her children around her, or she is deprived from buying new clothes or toys for her children, this makes it extra difficult for her other than the others.
Of course.
If she doesn't have her children around, it's going to be difficult throughout the year. I know, I understand this. But in particular occasions, it's going to be extra difficult. For orphans, for example, life is very difficult for an orphan to live without the mother and the father or one of the parents or
Of course.
the family. It's very difficult throughout the year. It's an ongoing suffering. But during certain occasions, they feel this extra pressure, this extra pain, if you understand what I'm saying. And this is why I need to call on people to use this positive energy in Ramadan in particular. Of course, I want this to be throughout the year, but I want them to mobilize this energy in order to help those people suffering, in particular, the extra vulnerable or fragile segments of the society.
All right. I will build on what you say.
Okay.
Let this be a message not for the children, but for the teachers. If you make a commitment to change how you deal with, how you treat children of poverty, let it be your gift in not only in Ramadan, but all through your professional life. Make a commitment now. This is my gift for my poor students, to respect them, not to pity them, to support them, not to neglect them, to learn how to deal with the we can say the brain suffering from poverty, adversities, challenges, cruelty of the street. If you can do this commitment now, then, because what we are after is structural change, let me make the difference between structural change and functional change.
Thank you very much for the useful information you gave us, Dr. Safaa Al Aasar, Professor of Psychology. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and Ramadan Kareem for everyone.
Thank you, Ramadan Kareem to you.
Thank you.
رمضان 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 اللي هلاله ظهر وبان فكرني بحاجات وذكريات بيعدي عمري وليها قلبي مكان رمضان نقشبندي بالتواشي، سبحة أبويا طرحة أمي ودموعنا صلاة التراويح، وحاجات لا يمكن تتنسي بأمانة، عبد المطلب ورمضان جانا، دي حاجات لا يمكن تتنسي بأمانة، عبد المطلب ورمضان جانا، قعدتنا في الحسين للفجرية، لعب الكورة في الدورة الرمضانية، ندى المسحراتي فوانيس اخواتي، خير وبركة ايام هنية. رمضان 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 اللي هلاله ظهر وبان، فكرني بحاجات وذكريات، بيعدي عمري وليها في قلبي مكان. رمضان 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 اللي هلاله ظهر وبان، فكرني بحاجات وذكريات، بيعدي عمري وليها في قلبي مكان.
And that's all for this edition of the program. We hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to join us again next week. Until then, bye-bye.